African Safari Wildlife Park is a wild experience with over 800 exotic animals. Our drive-through safari features giraffes, zebras, deer, elk, alpacas, and even a white bison, all of which you can feed right from your vehicle. Walk on the wild side with a Zoo It All Pass and feed kangaroos, porcupines, tortoises, and rabbits. Step into our aviary adventure and hand-feed budgies for a memorable experience. Check out our live educational shows or ride a camel. Create memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio Safari Park, African Safari Wildlife Park in Port Clinton.
Think anything about it, and then you show up and you're like, it's just like I remember, except for way nicer now.
Yes, that's right.
The fair is so much nicer than when I was there.
Well, I tell you what, the people behind the scenes, in front of the scenes that make it happen, they work hard to continue to make the fair the best it can be as far as the programming, as far as the facilities and whatever. And it is an ongoing deal. It isn't a 1 week a year deal for those people.
It's year round.
The fair board members, the 4-H staff, the various committees, most of whom are all volunteers, of course.
That's right. And you know, that was a theme throughout our discussions yesterday with some of our guests that stopped by, was to make sure that people understand that all of this is put on by volunteers. You know, there are, you know, many 4-H advisors and all kind of people that are all volunteering. The fair board members, the livestock committee members, all of that are volunteers.
That's right. And, you know, a lot of folks don't understand this. The fair board is an elected position. You know, you just don't raise your hand, hey, I want to be on the fair board. It's not quite that easy. The Jackson County Agricultural Society, which is the formal official name of the fair board, few people know that. They have elections every year. I believe they're late in the fall, October or November. And they have, I believe, 21 members, and it's staggered. Every year, I think 7 members are up. They're 3-year terms, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And if all you need to do is be a Jackson County Agriculture Society member, of course, as well as a resident of Jackson County, I presume, and then you run and
love the fair.
Right, and it's not on the ballot. It's not on any ballot like county commissioner, or mayor, or anything like that. But if you're a member, there's a certain time where you come in and vote, and that is all legally advertised. A lot of people always ask that, how do you get on the fair board?
Oh, you know, and arguably, though, just as important as some of these, locally elected officials, you know, where you go on the ballot and whatever. I mean, these people are working year round. It's not just for the fair.
Right. And of course, you know, there's short-termers, but there's a lot of long-termers there too, that have been there a while. You know, we talked last week before the Headhunters concert. We talked to Guy Wall for a newspaper interview. He was there in 1990 when, as a fair board member, when the Headhunters came, and he was a fair board member when the Headhunters came back this year.
That's right.
So, you know, a lot of those folks, do it out of a sense of loyalty and commitment and dedication, and that's the only reason they do it. So, you know, we try to recognize them while we cover, you know, the stuff that's out in front of our cameras.
That's absolutely right. And I do want to take this opportunity to, if you don't mind, to just thank everyone that stopped by to see us yesterday, because we got to talk to a lot of kids. We got to talk to some parents. Of course, Aaron Daly stopped by to talk about 4-H and you know, the projects there. So, you know, it was just a great day to be at the fair. It was beautiful. We got to sit under that really nice canopy there at the new fair office, and it was just gorgeous.
Well, see, when you're a Jackson County Fair horse queen,
that's right.
You have celebrity forever and ever, and they just flock.
I mean,
they just flock to you. Oh, there's the horse queen from 1990 or wherever. So
yep, they did.
that's right. They remember that. Jennifer Davis, now Jennifer Davis Radcliffe, a celebrity forever
Infamous.
and ever. That's right. But anyway, speaking of this year's fair, let's kind of do a quick review. Just into the start of the fair. But of course, it started with the harness racing last Thursday. The harness racing on Friday did not happen because of the rain.
Oh, it didn't.
Well, everybody was there. They were ready to roll, but they had rain, and they were going to delay the start of it, and they ended up not having it at all.
Gotcha.
I believe the starter was not able to stay beyond the time, and if you don't have the starter, you don't have harness racing.
Correct.
And so they did have it on Thursday with a very long card. So then, of course, on Saturday we had the Kentucky Headhunters. And the way it turned out, Jennifer, the weather forecast heading in was not great, but it turned out to be a wonderful night.
It was perfect for that concert.
And there, if you're watching on Facebook,
are.
on our monitors, you see the Headhunters up there. Of course, for the very last, they saved the Dumas Walker song that everybody probably wanted to hear the most. And, they had a good crowd. It wasn't 10,000 plus, of course, but they had a good crowd. It wasn't quite packed, but pretty close to a capacity crowd, and so it turned out pretty good. For the $10 admission, you're probably not going to see a group like the Kentucky Headhunters, in Nashville or anywhere else. So
That's
there
right.
you can see some of the fans there.
Woohoo!
They were excited, and the fair royalty, both from last year and this year, they of course had front row seats, and they all had their Ski Pop T-shirts on, and they just had a grand time dancing down there and all. And the Gem Bottling Company, of course, which produces ski, they had complimentary bottles of ski that they gave out to folks who attended the concert.
Cool.
So it was just a good time all the way around on that Saturday night. And I'm sure the fair board is glad that everybody came. I think they wish that the crowd was even bigger than it was, but still a very good crowd as far as the attendance goes. Then on Sunday, of course, another hallmark event is the opening ceremonies. I was there for that. It went off very well. One of the main things that happens in the opening ceremonies, of course, is the crowning of the new royalty, and that is Queen Presley Sexton. Of course, we've had her on the air, had her featured in a newspaper story and a telegram as well, and you can see how happy she is as the 2020 queen, who we also know so well. Elizabeth Fannin is placing that crown on her head. And of course, all the royalty, we're talking about from Presley all the way through the Little Miss and Little Mister, were crowned that night. And that is the posed picture there. Isn't that a nice looking group there? We're going to go down their names so we can give them all credit for what they do, because they have a very busy week as well.
Yeah.
It's not all glory, when you're the fair queen and attendance. You're doing work all throughout the week representing the fair.
You work hard.
Right, and it isn't like it's always in a climate controlled atmosphere, You can have thunderstorms, hot temperatures or whatever. But of course, Presley Sexton is the 2021 Jackson County Fair Queen. Her attendants are first attendant Mackenzie Lewis, second attendant is Emily Ann Ross, the grades 9-10 attendant is Jasmine Clarkson. The grade 7-8 attendant is Grace Callahan. The grades 5-6 attendant is Addison Daly. That is the daughter of Aaron Daly, of course, the 4-H agent. The grades 3-4 attendant is Reagan Farr. And the Little Miss is Spencer Osborne. And the Little Mister is Captain Kelly. And it was a very, very nice group. Each of them posed with pictures with their predecessor. The 2020 Little Mister, Jaden Swackhammer, for instance, crowned the new Little Mister, Kipton Kelly. And so, a lot of photo opportunities and scrapbook moments there that evening. And also that night, we want to mention this. We'll go back to the Queens real quickly. I want to give credit to Angie Eisenagel. Angie's been there forever. I think she's a former fair royalty. I can't remember whether she was the queen or not, but she's been involved with the fair her whole life.
Yes.
And, from the time that she was, a young adult, she's been a key Jackson County Fair volunteer. I had not known she had done this long, but for 30 years now,
Oh.
she has been the Queen's pageant coordinator.
I didn't know
the
that.
director, exactly. And they did an
Wow.
impromptu announcement. Olivia Sims, a 4-H member, got up there. She was emotional, and she said how much Angie Eisenagel means to the fair, and of course, especially to all the royalty members through the years. She's like a mother hen,
Sure.
in addition to being, a director and an administrator. And that is Olivia giving a hug to Angie Sexton Eisenagel. I think she's related to Presley, by the way. But Angie is a wonderful person behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, who is one of the key players at the fair. And I was glad to see her get that recognition there during the opening ceremonies. And we salute Olivia for getting up in front of the crowd and doing that.
Really cool.
Also that evening during the opening ceremonies, actually it was late afternoon because they do it at 4:00 now, they announced the scholarship recipients, the 4-H scholarship recipients. And that's a big deal too, because that's a lot of money coming into our young people. And some of the recipients this year, well, one of the recipients, this was a new scholarship, and it's up on our monitor now. That was the Brent Jenkins Memorial Scholarship. And Brent Jenkins was only 55 years old when he died, a little bit more than a year ago. He was a very valued Fair Board member. Helped a lot behind the scenes. He was a real advocate of the Demolition Derby, one of the more popular events at the fair. He also helped with camping and anything that needed to be done. And his family, they were honored last year. They were honored last year during the opening ceremonies, and his family wanted to find a way to memorialize him and his dedication to the fair, and they established their own scholarship. It's called the Brent Jenkins Memorial Scholarship, and two of his daughters are there, shown there on the monitor, with Elizabeth Fannin, who was the first ever recipient of the Brent Jenkins Memorial Scholarship.
Oh, cool.
And of course, there on the right, the far right, on the picture, that of course is 4-H agent educator Aaron Daly, who presented a lot of the scholarships. And so that was a new scholarship this year, and a nice story there. Also in honor of Brent Jenkins, the Fair Board now has renamed the Demolition Derby. It's just not the plain old Demolition Derby. It is the Brent Jenkins Memorial Demolition Derby. And
So good.
they have that on
That's a good
Saturday
thing.
night, the finale night. They always get a great attendance for that.
Huge.
It is a big success because they get the crowd, and it's not an expensive thing to do. You're not booking, an expensive group out of Nashville or whatever.
Yep.
So it's good that way too, from a business standpoint. All the fairs around here do very well with the Demolition Derby. And that
It's so fun.
That has been historically the case in Jackson County as well. So, all that coming on Saturday night, Jennifer.
Hey, can I stop you for one
Sure,
moment?
please do.
We were just talking about Angie Eisenagel, and she stopped by yesterday to see us. She wasn't on the air, but she did mention, and I think this is very important. They are doing for the kids up at the fair. You know how, and I don't know the official title, but they're doing. They do the free food giveaways for the lunch and breakfast for kids throughout the community. They're actually doing that at the fair.
Oh wow, that's
this year.
A good idea that somebody had
Yes.
there.
Yeah,
to go to the fair.
absolutely.
So many kids there.
Yes, so the kids are able to go by and get a free breakfast or lunch at the fair, and it's over by the Livestock Arena.
Right, and you know that those are nutritious meals.
Yes.
And maybe a break from the elephant ears and the pizza.
I mean, they can get all that
and
too,
all,
but
I mean, you got to have that now. You got to have that, but maybe not a steady diet all week.
correct. So it is a fantastic opportunity for the kids to make sure that they're fed up there at the fair. So I just wanted to pass that along because Angie stopped by to tell us about
I
that.
should have thrown corn dogs in there too.
That's right.
Got to get a corn dog somewhere during the week as well.
Love corn dogs.
But we want to mention some of the other scholarships as well. The Ohio Valley Bank Scholarship presented their 4-year scholarship, the new 4-year scholarship to Elizabeth Fannin. The other recipients, past recipients from the last 3 years for OVB scholarships were there as well. They were Abby Meldick, who was the 2020 recipient, Anna Lee Warren's the 2019 recipient, and the 2018 recipient, Kyra Mullins. OVB has always been very good to do those 4-H scholarships, and they are 4-year scholarships, make them very special. Other scholarship winners, because they were in the spotlight as well for their dedication, for their academic for their academic achievements. Chloe McKenzie was the recipient of the 4-H Advisory Council Scholarship. Chloe and Elizabeth Fannin both received the Paul and Loretta Riggle Scholarship. And in addition to the Brent Jenkins 4-H Memorial Scholarship, the scholarship for the Janie Hatfield Memorial Scholarship. Janie was a 4-H member from the Oak Hill area who unfortunately died as a teenager from cancer. She is a beloved former 4-H member, and her memory lives on with this scholarship. Her dad, Wallace Hatfield, is always there to present it. This year, that went to Chloe McKenzie, that scholarship. So those were the scholarships. One other thing we want to mention from the opening ceremonies. Now, Jennifer, I don't know how much of a singer you are.
Not.
But you've got to admit this. One of the hardest songs to sing, and you're out in the spotlight when you're doing it, is the Star Spangled Banner.
You are correct.
Is that a hard one to hit those notes?
It's a hard one.
Well, let me tell you, at this year's 4-H opening ceremonies, Teresa Parks, there she is. She sang the national anthem, and it was one of the best local renditions of that song I have ever heard.
Really?
And
That's
of
awesome.
course, in that situation, you're doing it a cappella too.
Yes.
And so, there's two ways you can do it. You can be very brave and try to hit all those notes, or you can kind of sing it flat the way I do. So when you don't hit them, everybody does it. It's like, oh my God, that guy's terrible. So I wanted to give credit to Teresa for the great job that she did. She is with the Promised Land Church. They have a praise band that sang earlier in the day, and then she got up and did that solo, and that is her up there on the monitor, and she just did a fantastic job with that song.
Good job. It is a toughie.
No doubt she's going to be recruited for some other public events as well, because she can warble.
Nice.
All right. As far as the fair yesterday, that was the first day of the junior fair competition. I know you were there when some of the rabbit shows were going on.
We were there for the bunnies.
Always lots of bunnies.
So cute.
But we're going to run down the names of the kids that won the top awards. Brenton Moon won both the Grand Champion Breeding Rabbit and the Reserve Champion Breeding Rabbit. He had both of the top two breeding rabbits. Yeah, Brenton Moon. The name Moon and rabbits go together in Jackson County Fair, I'll just tell you. McKenna Folden was the overall rabbit showman.
Okay.
And then the market rabbit, the Grand Champion market rabbit person was Addison Merrill, and Isabella Stanford won the Reserve Champion in the market rabbit category. Later on in the day, gobble gobble, the turkeys were in the Joe Morgan Memorial Show Arena.
Yep.
And the overall breeding turkey was Mallory Williams. In the showmanship market turkey category, Schuler Murray was the overall market turkey showman. And in the market turkey category, Jordan Causey captured the grand champion honors, and Harley Causey, don't know whether he's a brother or not, but I almost would guess.
I'd say so.
Jordan could be a girl, so I better be careful. Harley Causey won the reserve champion title. So Causeys do well in turkeys, and Moons do well in rabbits. I've been around long enough to know that. And then, of course, today, Jennifer, is Senior Citizens Day.
That's right.
At the Jackson County Fair. And if you're a senior citizen, you can get in for half price. You might want to have some ID there, but I think they'll do honor system there. So they're doing a senior citizens senior king and queen contest at the 4-H building at 10 o'clock today. Our Trevor Bailey from the Telegram staff will be there to cover that. A lot of the local nursing homes and assisted living facilities participate in that, along with the Jackson County Board of Aging. I know Lisa Warrens will be in the middle of all that. It gets the senior citizens some recognition, gets them out to see the fair, and they have a nice social time there in the climate-controlled 4-H building.
It's a good time.
In the show arena today, it's lambs and goats. Lambs first and then goats later. If you want to ride the rides, they don't start until 5 o'clock. And the big entertainment tonight, Jennifer, is the Diamond J Rodeo, which is being presented by the Vinton County National Bank and G&J Pepsi. That will be in the grandstand starting at 6 o'clock. And I believe the Diamond J people are from here in Jackson County.
They are. And then don't forget, for the kids, they have the mutton busting
Yes,
before
they
the
do.
rodeo.
That's
and
yes, they
that's
do that.
always a hoot.
Yes, it is, and that is just for the kids. And so
they don't let. We're a little big for that, Pete.
No, that's right.
How did this? Did anyone go to the circus yesterday? I just wondered how that went.
Red Thompson Jr. was there.
Did he?
I sent him there to take a quote token picture that the circus was there because that was the only day, and he ended up watching the whole doggone thing.
Did he really?
He did put a video on his own Facebook page. He enjoyed it so much. I know they were doing some aerial acts. So the Cincinnati Circus is actually a pretty big organization out of Cincinnati, of course, but they travel around 3 or 4 states in the Midwest. They've been at the Vinton County Junior Fair quite often, and it was a good idea of the Fair Board to have them there on Kids Day.
Yeah, who doesn't love a circus, right?
Right. So, but that was your only chance. I don't believe they're going to be there the rest of the week. They'll be traveling around. I'm sure they're on the county fair circuit for a lot, but they can also be booked for business events and other things. I think the Cincinnati Circus was at Bundy School early in this past school year in the spring. All right, and then later on, of course, the fair does run through this Saturday. Some of the key events, of course, we talked to Jess Kelly Adams. She'll be singing at Country Music Day at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night on Wednesday.
If we're super lucky, she might, fingers crossed, stop by the show tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, if she gets in time.
Her and the dog both?
Yeah, I think, and Fancy.
And Fancy,
yes.
too. Okay, and then on Thursday, in the show arena, there'll be beef, by the way, will be in the livestock arena, all categories of beef on Wednesday. On Thursday, it's poultry and then the swine. And also on Thursday evening, it will be the sanctioned truck and tractor pull from the grandstand. That will be the, quote, thrill show attraction.
Nice.
Then on Friday, of course, the Junior Fair livestock sale. That's the culmination of the week on the Junior Fair side. All the work that those kids have done with their projects through the year end up at the Junior Fair livestock sale. It starts at 3 o'clock, Jennifer. For the last several years, they pushed it up a little earlier to 3 o'clock. That gets it over with a little later. I've been there past midnight before because there's so many projects.
Yes.
And now it does end before that. But obviously, ample opportunity, if you're a potential buyer or you just have a connection with it, a family connection there. Lots of opportunities to see all or a portion of the show starting at 3 o'clock. That is at the Joe Morgan Memorial Livestock Arena. On Friday night, Fast Tracks Motocross at the grandstand. And then on the finale day on Saturday, Jennifer, the big attraction, of course, is the Demolition Derby in the evening. And, of course, our own Matt McKee will be at the fair each day this week from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., doing live broadcasts. I'm sure talking to people there, running down what's going on at the fair. Our Telegram staff, of course, we almost need to have a tent there. We're there so often, and we're tag teaming it. Everybody's getting some experience at the fair. We'll be covering in depth the Junior Fair livestock sale. We'll be running all the pictures of the grand champion and reserve champion animals and more in next week's paper. So a lot going on.
I'm trying to figure out when the horse show is.
The horse show is on Saturday.
On Saturday?
Yes, last year they did it on Saturday, and they're doing it on Saturday again.
Well, that's weird.
It's at 9 a.m. They've moved that baby around. For a while, it was on Thursday, but now they've got it on Saturday. And I think it's because it's after all the other shows. I know it's not a livestock thing, but it's still a 4-H thing.
Okay.
And this kind of gives them their day in the sun, so as to speak, when there's not anything else going on there on the Junior Fair side.
Well, and I can tell you from showing horses for many years, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, is the fact that, our little prissy horses that lived in, their little prissy world, sometimes get to the fair and see goats and sheep and hogs and whatever and go, I don't know what that is. Well, see, and it totally flips them out. So it's actually probably a good idea.
Yeah, they've led a sheltered life. So, that may have something to do about it. And only a horse queen would know that inside information there.
That's right.
All right. Well, we'll move away from the fairgrounds now because, life does go on.
It does.
And we want to mention some good news coming from Vinton County, and that's the Lake Hope State Park. The State Controlling Board, which is an organization of state government that controls some funding, they have awarded some money for some infrastructure projects and improvement projects throughout the state, including many of our state parks. And one of the state parks that's going to get some money for improvements is Lake Hope State Park.
Oh, cool.
Which is very popular there. It's in Vinton County,
Gorgeous.
just north of Zaleski. And they are going to, or Lake Hope, it has been confirmed, will be receiving some money to renovate 25 of the cabins there. I think there's 66 cabins. Lake Hope State Park, if you haven't been there, it's a big attraction. There is an example of one of the cabins. I'm not sure they're all the same, but there's 66 of them, and there's 25 of them that are going to receive a major renovation. A lot of the folks...
They are so fun to stay in.
Right, and a lot of the folks that go to Lake Hope come actually from outside the area.
Yes.
It's very close to the Hocking Hills, and to folks in Chicago and even Columbus, it's like, oh, we're in the mountains now.
I know. We don't appreciate it because we live in the middle of it all.
Right.
But, you get the city slickers that come here and think that they're in some other world,
Right. Well,
and it's fantastic.
They're coming here and they see the hills and they see the outdoors, and then they go home, and we're the ones who have to mow the hills.
That's true. Take care of it.
No,
right?
we don't take them for granted, but a lot of people really appreciate them who live in the flatlands.
You're right. You are correct.
So I'm not sure when all this work is going to happen at Lake
That's
Hope State Park,
exciting.
but it is going to happen. A lot of money being poured into Lake Hope State Park, which is maybe the single biggest tourist attraction in Jackson and Vinton counties. Now, I just pulled that out and said it, but I'm betting it is, because I had somebody tell me, I don't know whether they counted people coming in, but I've seen it written and said that they get 1 million visitors a year.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. And they have a beautiful lake there where you can rent kayaks, you can swim.
They have a lot of nature activities throughout the year. They have a
trails.
nature center. You can get back to nature. You can do the hiking, boating, fishing, of course, the camping, and staying in a cabin. You don't have to rough it outside in a tent.
And those
to go to Lake
cabins,
Hope.
I've stayed in them. Well, I stayed in them in college. We had a couple of like sorority retreats and stuff there, and they were very nice.
Yes, I know.
So,
I know some of them are very nice. Like I
screen
said,
and porches on them, and all kind of neat stuff.
right. We were up there. Pam and I were up there to have dinner one night. And even though it was just into the beginning of the summer, they were already getting good crowds there. And they have a very nice restaurant there, too.
They
the
do.
Lake Hope Lodge.
And yes, I was going to mention that as well. They definitely do.
They certainly
Beautiful.
do. All right, some other good news through Vinton County, or we hope that it's going to become good news, is a very important woman, Gail Manchin. She is the federal co-chair of the Appalachian Regional Commission. And the Appalachian Regional Commission is an arm of the federal government this was formed. The ARC was formed back in the 60s when they said, oh, we got to get more money into Appalachia. Appalachia is a wide area.
Yeah.
And part of Ohio, including us, are in Appalachia.
We are.
All right. Well, the lady who is the co-chair, Gail Manchin, and if that name is familiar, she is the wife of West Virginia United States Senator Joe Manchin.
I wondered. You don't hear a lot about mansions around.
Right.
So.
Well, she is going to be in our area today, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure all where she is going to go, but one place we know she's going for sure is Vinton County. And she will be there tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. And she is going to tour some of the areas in the western part of the county. And we've talked about this on the air and we've written about it in the newspaper, that do not have a good source of water, of public water.
I mean, that's the thing, folks.
Right. They use the well water, or they go to water vending stations. Can you imagine the inconvenience of that?
I can't.
You look in the corner and you see 20 water jugs or whatever. People
Water
buy
comes
water.
out the spigot.
Right.
You don't think about it.
You don't think about it all. Well, they think about it
Yes.
there in that area. And of course, it's a quality of life thing, but it's also an economic development thing. If there is a good source of public water running through the lines from one of the county water companies or whatever, it's going to really cultivate that area as far as being a place to live, work, and maybe have a business.
Yeah.
Because it is a
Absolutely.
beautiful area there in western Vinton County, and some of it has public water, some of it doesn't. It's because it's a remote area, not highly populated, and the hills create problems. It's more expensive to do those water lines and build the towers and whatever, so you have sufficient pressure. But anyway, they obviously hope, the local officials, they've been looking for money for some time to help with this. And I know that the Jackson County Water Company and our good friend, General Manager Larry Foster, is ready and willing to be part of the solution, but it's going to take some money coming from somewhere.
For sure.
And maybe Uncle Sam will help here.
Listen.
And one of the leading persons who represents Uncle Sam is Gail Manchin. And she's going to do a tour. I don't know whether they'll have an announcement to make or it's an assessment type thing, but it's got to be a positive thing. And Red Thompson Jr., who I consider the leading newsman in Benton County, he's going to be right there with Gail Manchin tomorrow.
That's fantastic, and I'm let's keep our fingers crossed that they can get some of that government money headed our way. I mean, they're spending it anyway. We may as well take it, right?
Right. Well, they seem to be pretty free with it lately. So
I mean, I'm just going to tell you, having running water is not having it is not okay.
Right,
you
exactly. Well, and to some of the other local officials that will be involved in this, we should mention them. The Benton County Commissioners, that's Mark Fount, William Wellman, and Tim Eberts. Terry Featherhoff is the Benton County Development Director. MacArthur Mayor Steve Hammond, he will be in the group. John Hemmings, who is the Executive Director of the Ohio Valley Regional Development Commission, that is the regional arm of the ARC. They work with the ARC. Usually how it works, if you get ARC money, locally you say, hey, we need money. You tell the OVRDC. The OVRDC prioritizes projects in the region, and then the ARC decides who needs the money the most. And so we'll see what happens there. All right, just full of good news today.
Yay,
all right.
We love that.
Okay, well, let's hear it for the mob. That is the Marching Oaks Band.
Woo!
Bryce Wertz, who does such a great job with the band program down there. It was announced this past weekend that they will get to play at an Ohio State University skull session on the day of a football game.
What?
Yes, they will. They will at a skull session. The skull session.
That is so cool.
If you haven't heard of it, I mean, the skull session is Halloween. No, it's not Halloween. That's what they call, I guess you could say, the pep rally.
It's the pep rally,
that occurs before a home football game for the Ohio State Buckeyes. The best damn band in the land. I get to say damn because...
well, darn it, yes.
Facebook didn't cut us off, did they?
No, they didn't. No, they won't. They won't cut us off.
They'll cut you off on some things.
There's much worse things.
All right.
Out there.
Well, the Ohio State University, the best damn band in the land, is featured, of course, at that skull session. They have usually the coach and the players make appearances as well. They also invite a number of high school bands to participate, and they play as well. Jackson Band has done that before,
cool.
And now the Oak Hill Band is going to get to do that. And so congratulations to the Oaks for that happening. And it's going to happen on October the 30th. And you know what?
Woo.
That day, I don't know whether it's in the afternoon or evening, wouldn't doubt it's a night game, but they're going to be playing the Penn State Nittany Lions, and that's going to be a big game. It always is. And so they're just not, it's just not a token appearance. They're going to be there for one of the biggest games of the year.
I was going to say, Penn State is a big deal.
Right.
That's a big deal.
So so congratulations to the Marching Oaks. We'll be, of course, writing about that in the paper, but on TV, we certainly wanted to acknowledge that and congratulate everybody associated with the band.
Love that.
We also want to congratulate and tip our hat to Jackson Assistant Fire Chief Jeff Young, because last week he announced his retirement from the Jackson Fire Department. And Jeff is kind of a modest guy. He posted something on Facebook just to let people know that he was leaving the department. And instead of using his picture, he put his turnout gear that had his name on it and hung it on a fire truck there. And Jeff, effective last Wednesday, retired from the department after 29 years of service. And he was the #2 ranking officer behind Fire Chief Dave Channel. And that is a big loss to the Jackson Fire Department. But we certainly, on the positive side, want to thank Jeff Young for all he has done for the city of Jackson and expressly the Jackson Fire Department. Remember, through the unindoctrinated folks, in small towns and small counties, the fire department is not usually a full-time job.
No.
It's sometimes not even a part-time job. It's a volunteer job with what we call token pay, call-out fee, or whatever. You don't do it for the money. You do it out of a sense of service.
Oh, absolutely.
And we keep saying it, but it is so true. You never know what's going to happen when you go out on a call.
100%.
If you're a firefighter or you're a police officer, you're putting yourself in harm's way. And so we wanted to acknowledge Jeff Young and all he's done for the department. I talked to Dave Channel, and he says there is a sore need for firefighters in the city of Jackson.
Really?
And so if you're interested, give Dave a call. The fire department has a Facebook page. Make a contact through a city source or directly to Dave, and see what it takes to be a firefighter. I know you just don't hold your hand up and do it. You have to be trained, but I think they help you with the training costs and all. And if that's something that you think you might want to do,
yep.
And you're able to do it, probably isn't any better way to serve your community than that.
Yes.
All right. The J. Floyd Dixon Memorial Fund recently passed out its money. They do money every year, and they spread it out. They do smaller amounts to lots of different local organizations and agencies, governmental and nonprofit.
What is the J. Floyd Dixon Memorial Fund?
Well, I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. J. Floyd Dixon was a former county superintendent way back in the early part of the 20th century.
In Jackson County.
Right,
okay.
right. I think he had connections with all the schools. There was one time when a lot of the smaller rural schools were part of what is called the county system. There was districts in Oak Hill and Bloomfield Township and all over, and there was a county superintendent that was in charge of all of them, even though there's smaller high schools and elementary schools and one-room schools all over the place. But the county superintendent was a very important position, and that was the position that J. Floyd Dixon had. And after he passed away, his family created the J. Floyd Dixon Memorial Fund.
Cool.
And every year, a local committee made up of volunteers. The chairman in recent years has been Bonnie Huffman from up at Wellston.
Okay.
But they have representation from volunteers. They do this for free from all over the county. And then they ask local agencies and organizations that do good things to make grant applications, and then they divvy up the money every year. And this was just done here very recently. We're going to have an article in Wednesday's paper. That's going to be the picture that you'll see. Those are representatives of not only some of the organizations that receive funding, but also some of the board members. If you're looking there on TV and you see, if you're looking at the monitor there on the front row and the far right, that is Bonnie Huffman there. She does a great job of marshaling that, pulling it all together. It's really a lot of behind the scenes work. And of course, the volunteers don't get paid, so we want to salute them. Greg Irvin from Jackson, he's one of the members. Joyce McClurg from Oak Hill is one of the members. They were there for the photo. But some of the organizations that receive money, Elizabeth Hope Pregnancy Resources, the Jackson City Library, the Jackson City Schools, the Wellston City Schools, the Oak Hill Union Local Schools, the Jackson County Family and Children First Council, the Jackson County Board of Aging, Jackson Vinton Community Action Agency, Make Wellston Beautiful, Southern Hills Arts Council, and Warriors for Christ, and the Jackson Area YMCA. That's organizations that do a lot of good serving kids.
Yeah.
They look for things particularly that help kids, but
cool.
But their funding goes across the strata of the population. So we want to acknowledge that. And once again, we'll have a nice article that tells all about it in Wednesday's edition of the Telegram. Looking ahead tonight, there'll be a very important special session meeting of the Jackson City Board of Education, Jennifer. This is a special purpose meeting. They won't be discussing or acting on a whole lot of things, but Phil Howard, the superintendent of the Jackson City Schools, says that the agenda will include a discussion by the board members and a vote on a mask policy for the upcoming school year. That is a big deal. If you watch the national TV, the mask, and read the national newspapers, the mask policy heading into this next school year is a big thing. Remember, even though kids came through the COVID-19 thing better than anybody, they didn't get sick, or if they did, they didn't get very sick.
Yeah.
But they were supposed to wear masks during the entire school year.
Right.
And of course, the situation has gotten a lot better since that school year ended in May. So what should be the policy heading into this new school year? Is it going to be, very safe and restricted like it was before, or because a lot of people I don't know anyone who likes to wear a mask. They're willing to wear a mask, So, what do you do? Who's going to wear a mask? How often will they wear a mask? Where will they wear a mask? Will they wear a mask at all? So that decision is local. Right now, it's not a situation where, the Ohio Department of Health or the CDC at this point, at least, is telling you what you have to do or recommending what you have to do. Because, different strokes for different folks wherever you are. And this appears to be, once again, in our local area, a local decision. And the Jackson City Board of Education, since we're within about a month of the start of the school year, they're going to probably make that decision tonight. And of course, we'll be on that story.
Whew. Yeah, that's a toughie. Glad I'm not that person making the decision.
Right. And they'll discuss it tonight. They're also going to executive session on personnel matters. One of the things they might do in this meeting tonight is appoint, a new assistant principal at the high school. They need one of those because Tyler Swackhammer graduated from assistant high school principal to high school principal because Thad Haynes resigned to take another position in education. And so, of course, with the school year coming up on us, all the things the administrators have to do before the school year even starts, I think they would like to name an assistant high school principal tonight. I would look for it to be in-house because of the timing and because they want to reward maybe some teacher who is certified to become an administrator and reward them and allow them to become the assistant high school principal. So we may hear about that when we report on that, in upcoming on upcoming days on our various media platforms. We'll have that on the radio, of course, tomorrow, and in the paper probably on Saturday. A little profile of whoever the assistant high school principal is, provided they go ahead and name one. All right. The last thing we want to tell you is that the hydrant flushing in Jackson. Remember, we told you about that several weeks ago. It's still going on.
Yep.
And so the city put out another reminder that it will go through July the 30th. That's the rest of this week and then next week as well. They started on the south side of town. If you've got your geography down, you may know whether they've been through your area or not. But they are working on the northeast side of the city here these last 2 weeks, and that includes Veterans Drive, McCarty Lane, and Broadway Street. If you live on the northeast side of the city, chances are your hydrants will be flushed within the next 2 weeks. If you're in that area, check your water out before you run it into your washer or you take a drink of water.
It should just look kind of yellowish.
So it can look that way. It can look worse that way. Sometimes you may not even notice anything.
Right.
But don't be surprised if you do get a little bit of discolored water, but just keep the water running and it will be all right. It just needs to run through the lines there. Be careful, of course, if you're washing clothes. That's the big thing. But however, they say water is always safe to use at all times. Just the same, I'll wait until it's clear before I drink it.
Absolutely. And, they had that disaster of a hydrant flushing, I think it was last year or the year before, where it basically came out as mud. And it was due to some factors that were explained to me, actually by Service Director Swackhammer. And hopefully keep our fingers crossed that doesn't happen. It had to do with different suction and whatever flow, and I don't even know. It made sense when he explained it.
Right. Well,
but it was a mess. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that doesn't happen again.
Well, speaking of water, on a tour I took several years ago, we'll see what you would have done. I want to know what you would have done if you were in my place.
All right.
I took a tour of the wastewater plant, the sewer plant, what you would call it here in Jackson. Of course, it's very high tech now. They clean the water, and it's so clean, that they're able to dump the effluent into a Salt Lick Creek, and it's cleaner than the creek water that is natural, I was told. They told me that the water that comes out after it's treated at the wastewater plant is actually as clean as the water that comes out of the spigot, and they poured a glass of it for me and said, "You can drink it." I didn't do it.
Thank you.
This is treated wastewater, and it looked clean. I'll say this, but I did not take the plunge. Would you have done it?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to.
Pete, you and I are on the same page with that one.
Okay, we're both cowards.
Yeah, pretty much. No, and it has nothing to do with anything other than I couldn't get that past my brain.
Right. Okay. Well, okay. Well, tomorrow, Jennifer, we do want to remind you it's a paper day. Our paper will hit the streets tomorrow morning. If you're a subscriber, it'll come in your mailbox, hopefully the same day. We mail it out to our non-local subscribers. It'll be at the newsstands and the boxes. And we'll have lots of news, I promise you, because we're working on it now. But we'll have a lot of coverage from the Jackson County Fair and all the things that I talked about. Some of the pictures you saw up on the monitor, those and many more will be in tomorrow's paper. So please check that out and see what's going on in Jackson County. Always lots more than you might think.
That's exactly right. And Pete stays up on all of it.
Well, we do our best, and I know there's lots that we don't get to, and so our goal is to get to that too.
I don't know about that, but all right. Well, Pete, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. We greatly appreciate it.
Right. It's been almost, what has it been? All good news, hasn't it?
Mostly good news.
And you get to give them a great weather forecast for the rest of the fair now, if it hadn't changed on us.
You are correct.
All right.
I'm excited about that.
Well, I will head down and work on that paper that I promised to put out tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
And of course, Pete's morning news update, always brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachian Realty. If you're looking to buy, sell, or have any real estate questions or needs, give Nia a call, 740-418-4135, and she'll be out working hard for you. All right, so if you are wondering what your Jackson County Fair weather forecast looks like, it's really good, and I'm happy to give that today. For today, they are calling for a hazy. You know, I don't know that I've ever seen them say that before. That's a new one. But they're saying hazy, highs around 88 degrees. For tonight, hazy, lows around 65. All of this is looking good, though. Tomorrow, highs around 84, lows around 59. So getting a little cool on Wednesday. And then Thursday, mostly sunny, highs of 84, lows of 60. And so on and so forth through the weekend, even into the beginning of your work week Monday for the next fair that's coming up, which I think is
Benton County's next
Benton,
week.
and then Gallia.
I believe so.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, James stopped by because before the show, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it because Pete was here, but we were monitoring the Jeff Bezos was supposed to go into space this morning.
Looks like it went smoothly.
Did it happen?
Yeah, it happened. There and back in 15 minutes.
I don't know how I feel about all that. So, I don't know. Would you do it?
But
Oh.
What's going on?
I have no idea. Jenna, what are you doing?
Plug your phone, Jenna. There you go.
Jenna, if you wanted to be on the air, you could have just come over here. She's trying to steal our spotlight.
Yes, how much did this cost?
I literally had it on the news desk. I don't even know how that connected to my phone.
Who knows?
But
yeah, so
just
Blue
like
Origin.
$400 million to go to space for 15 minutes.
For 15 minutes. Kind of the neat thing about it, sidebar, is that you had the youngest person and the oldest person, right, to ever go into space aboard the spaceship.
See if we can find their names.
It is...
Wally Funk is the female aviation pioneer that was 84 years old.
Yeah, Wally's a girl.
Yeah, Wally's a girl. And Oliver Damien, I think is his name. 18 years old. Youngest person ever to go to space.
Pretty cool stuff. So you have Richard Branson and his crew going up about a week and a half ago, and then Jeff Bezos and his crew going up today into space. And you know, what does this mean?
It means billionaires get to go to space now. That's exactly what it means.
It means it still costs a lot to go to space, but I think what it does mean, if you look at the big picture, is if you have a whole lot of money and want to squander it on something really cool, you can probably go to space sometime soon.
Yeah.
They'll be selling seats. And you don't even have to be a NASA astronaut to do so.
No.
So
you barely have to be an adult. Apparently.
You're right. Evidently, you can be 18 and do it. I don't know. It's interesting. So I was listening to some talk about that this morning, though. So Richard Branson, his device, if you will, to go into space is like a plane.
Yeah.
So, but this is like a rocket.
Right.
So Richard Branson's spaceship, if you will, actually goes up on another like plane, and then they
Mhm.
take off that
Yeah.
and go up into space, where this is like actually NASA launching a rocket from the ground
Yeah.
up.
And
And
it
then
separates.
yeah, and then the capsule actually floats down via a parachute.
Yeah, well, and then the rocket part that they use to launch off with is reusable too,
I think it is. It
Yeah.
comes back down.
Yeah, so it shoots up however far, and then it ejects the top part that has the people in it, and then they just like free fall for like 6 minutes, basically.
I don't think so. It just seems really weird. But and how does the parachute like control where it goes? Like,
I don't know. I mean, it looked like they were
does
gonna.
it have little thrusters or something on it?
I mean, it must. It looked like that. Said they were going to land on land, not in the water.
Yes, they were supposed to. And it has. Oh, I know. I did hear
so
them
the capsule
say.
touched down in the desert.
Yes.
It doesn't say what desert though.
And you fall at 16 miles an hour, but right before they touch the ground, it has little thrusters that stop it from hitting the ground at 16 miles an hour. So it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, cool.
Yeah, I mean that's all you can say. Cool. I mean,
you know,
I don't
you
know.
have. I don't know. So it's like.
I mean, maybe a few thousand years from now, we're going to use this technology to move to another planet to live because we've destroyed this one. But
right.
But
exactly.
right now, it's just kind of like
it's kind of cool.
Like whatever. Like let Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos.
I know.
Do whatever
they
with
want
their
to do.
money.
I mean, they got more
It's-
money than God.
yeah.
So, but with that, is it like good that they're spending their money on doing this stuff, or is it extravagant,
It's extravagant.
and ridiculous?
And it would
because
be
there are
better-
people that
Yeah.
are starving to death
Yeah,
and
it would
don't
be
have
better
homes.
if they were just, paying regular taxes instead of not paying taxes and spending $40 million on spaceships.
I it's all relative,
Yeah.
It's like wherever you fall into the thing, how much is extravagant and how much is too much money. But I don't know. I mean, when you have to have homelessness committees and
Yeah.
whatever, it seems a little bit weird to me that they're spending millions and millions of dollars. But also
can
on the
say
other
they
side
did
of the
it.
coin, if they're not doing it, no one
Yeah.
will. So
Well, I mean, NASA was kind of doing it until
Yeah,
they
well,
stopped
they-
funding them.
that, and they kind of kept blowing people up. So, that was not
I'm
good
sure
either.
Jeff Bezos will get his chance to blow somebody up soon enough.
I know, right? Like, it's not all going to be
Ugh.
smooth sailing,
So far, so good, though.
forever.
Shouldn't be pessimistic, I guess.
No, we should not.
Should be positive.
Yeah.
Think of how fast we're going to get our Amazon now.
Yeah, they could put in rocket ships and
Dude,
just
be there in
blast
15
it to
minutes. I mean, it's going to hit your house at 16 miles an hour with a parachute tied to it. But it's
No.
going to be there in 15 minutes.
So what I want is, the spices that I ordered off Amazon to go up into space first and then come back to me and get delivered. And that way I can say that my spices have been to space.
It's out of this world.
Yes.
Charge a space premium.
Yeah.
Yep.
They should do that. They should put a bunch of boxes on one of these rockets and then auction off the stuff, because you could say, well,
Yeah.
that
into space.
inflatable pool I just bought has been to outer space.
It's good thinking.
It's all about, hey, I'm
How
all
much
thinking
is
outside the
a
box here.
Super Mario Brothers cartridge that's been to space worth?
Probably double the 1.6 million that it sold for.
It's still a steal.
That you can't do anything with but look at it.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I don't know.
Come on.
Did you have fun at the fair yesterday?
So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is nice to see, the kids be able to be back at it and,
Mhm.
and be normal and just do kid things and
Yeah.
have fun at the fair, because that's what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it was enjoyable for me to get to see them having some sort of normal.
Yeah.
Because you were there a lot last year
Yeah.
and broadcast live, and I'm sure there was a lot of masks and things like that you probably didn't see.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
There was
There were some masks.
some masks.
Yeah. When the kids were showing last year, did they have to wear masks? Do you remember?
I mean, no, not very many.
Because
Because
they can kind of spread out a little bit.
Yeah, some people wore them. It's most people didn't.
It's so hot. I don't know how you could have. But they are going to have perfect weather this year. This is going to be, I mean, like...
Well, it's going to be hazy.
Hazy, evidently. Jenna, what does that mean?
I thought I was on the wrong website when I pulled it up. I was like, I've never seen that before.
We've literally been doing this for years and years and years, and I've never seen it put up a hazy graphic. What new intern did they get that's like, hey, I got this cool new graphic. I'm going to put that on the weather.
It's the same as the one that says sunny, but I wrote hazy over it.
Yeah. I just made my mark.
You know, the one thing it doesn't show on that graphic, I've seen people talking about this online, is that the air quality is poor right now. So if you're somebody that has like lots of like allergies and health issues and stuff like that, it's not really a good time to be outside. So maybe, I don't think that's what that means, but... No,
I think hazy's more like it's just like thick out.
Yeah.
Like it's just...
Yeah, but I mean, the AQI is what they use to measure air quality.
Air quality.
And so it says it's at 142 right now. And my understanding is that 150 is like dangerous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So
don't go outside and breathe.
Yeah, so like if you have breathing issues, today's maybe not the day to spend too much time outside. I don't see anything that says hazy.
That is weird. I don't know. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Something new. So, all right. What's your favorite fair food? Jenna, go.
Fries.
Fries?
Yeah.
I feel ya.
Fries are hard to beat.
Fries are hard to beat.
Yeah.
I think funnel cakes, for sure.
Yeah, those are hard to beat, too.
Those are hard to beat.
I can do elephant ears, but I have to be in a really specific mood.
Okay. Are you an elephant ear versus funnel cake? Like, do you like elephant ears better?
Probably.
I think I like funnel cakes better. And I also really, really like those lemon shake-up things.
Yeah.
Those
if
are
it's
fantastic.
Really hot,
oh,
that's hard to beat.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite fair food?
Well, like I said, the fries are pretty hard to beat.
Yeah. And you know what? You could try to make those at home all you want. And the hand-cut
I think
fries.
The secret is a Windex bottle full of vinegar.
100%. And I can tell you what, if they don't give you the Windex bottle that you spray the vinegar on, then I'm moving on.
Right.
I'm moving on. That's it.
Somebody may have an answer to the hazy question.
Yeah.
Oh.
Somebody said, I think the sky is hazy because of the smoke from the wildfires in the west.
That would make sense.
Maybe.
That's probably why the air quality is bad, too.
Could be.
That and all the regular pollution.
Yeah, just everyday life in America. Yeah. Although we're way better off than a lot of countries.
That's true.
So we actually have that thing called the EPA. Keeps us from doing really stupid things.
Yeah.
Or sort of stupid things. But all right. So tomorrow should be, if all goes right, chock full of some great entertainment here. Our friend Jess should be back, hopefully, fingers crossed, if she gets here in time. Maybe she'll sing us another song. And also, I think our good friend Kim from the Farm Bureau will be here as well.
That'll be next week.
Oh, is that next week?
Kim's
I thought that was
next week.
I thought it was this week.
It's on the calendar for next week. We can double check.
Kim Harless? I was pretty sure it was the... Okay.
Yeah. We'll double check.
We'll see.
It sounds like we should double check.
We might want to double check. But anyway, and we're going to talk about piggies.
Yep.
So don't forget, Jackson County Fair continues on through the week. And so tonight's featured entertainment is the Diamond J Rodeo. We're going to send James up. He's going to participate in the Mutton Bustin' Sheep Rodeo.
Is the Mutton Button the kids that ride the sheep?
Yes.
That's pretty funny.
It is pretty cute.
That's pretty funny. We went to a rodeo in Texas one time, and we saw a little monkey dressed like a cowboy riding sheep.
No.
It was good stuff.
That's too much. I'll bet that was like the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
Was the monkey having fun?
I mean, I was too far away to really judge his expression, And they didn't like interview him after.
They didn't talk to the monkey.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
Never know.
I mean, he was strapped to a sheep that was running berserk, so I don't know.
That is a little weird.
Yeah.
I'll bet you PETA would probably have something to say about that.
I don't know.
Also, don't forget today is Senior Citizen Day at the fair. So from what Pete says, senior citizens get in half price. And they have a lot of activities today for our senior friends. Also, the lamb show, and then following the lambs, the goats. So, yep. So there you go. And we're heading up to the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah.
And the Americans are dropping like flies with COVID.
Yeah.
So we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that no more.
Somebody gets to go.
Yeah.
I think it starts tonight, doesn't it?
Is it tonight?
The softball starts
Oh, I don't know.
tonight or tomorrow, I think.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Didn't, as it got postponed last year, been waiting a whole nother year for the Olympics. So
Yep.
pretty wild. So then will they have the Olympics like in another year then?
Well,
Since
it'll be
it's
3. Well,
Oh
are you
yeah,
counting
because it's
Winter
every
Olymp-
4 years, right?
Right. But then there's also the Winter Olympics.
Which is it? So it's
the-
like basically you have Olympics every 2 years.
Yeah.
Winter or
Winter
summer, they're
Olympics
staggered.
would be next year, I
Okay.
think. I think.
All right. That makes sense. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. We appreciate you. And we'll be back here tomorrow with more fair coverage and lots of fun stuff.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So we'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.